Hello friends, welcome back to this tutorial series of Jetpack Compose, and in this tutorial we are going to learn about one of the most commonly used effect handler, that is launched effect. At first we will be saying something about remember coroutine scope, that is also one of the effect handler, and then we will switch to the launch effect and see how we can handle effect practically using that. So let's get started. So here I am in an Android Studio project. I am just continuing the same code base which I have already shared in the previous video of the side effects. Just added a few things that I am going to share. First, this is a whole composable function, that is side effect practice, and here we have implemented already there is one button. Here we have already taken a button, and here is a text for the counter. So whenever we click on this button, this count will get increased by 1. So that's why we have created this state as an mutable integer state of named as a counter. And sorry, and then we have also used this scaffold for showing the snack bar. So that currently we are not going to show the snack bar. Well, so this is how the setup is. We have just taken a column here, and inside column we have this button, and we have surrounded this with a scaffold widget. So that's the setup for now. Now what I want to implement is that whenever I click on this count, so currently let me start the interactive mode. When I click on this one, the counter gets incremented by 1. So that UI is currently side effect free, but in the previous video we have already discussed that if we put the counter plus plus here, then it will cause a side effect. So that's the code base is at about as of now. Now I just wanted to do one thing. Whenever I click on this count and this counters an even value, that is 2468, then we should be able to show a snack bar here showing that the number is even. So how we can implement that? For that, what we need to do is, what problem it has? Okay, it has already remember. Then what? Let me check. Mutable int state of 0. Okay, something was missing. So yeah, now so in order to show a snack bar, I need this scaffold. That's why I have used this scaffold as a parent layout. And for the snack bar, we also want to create a state that create a snack bar host state that we have already discussed in the previous videos in this tutorial series. So this is the snack bar host state I have created. Whenever I click on this button, then I just check if counter is divisible by 2 and gets a remainder of 0, that is the number is even. If that's the case, then what I want to show a snack bar. So I'll just use that state snack bar host state dot show snack bar. Here I'll write a message. Uh, the number is even. Okay. Now it is still showing me an error. So what error it is showing? It is showing that it is a suspend function should be called only from coroutine. So this is a suspend function show snack bar. So and this we have a normal lambda, not a coroutine context. So we need a coroutine context in order to access this function. So how we can get a coroutine context here? So that's how we can get this first, where scope equal to, we can get a coroutine scope just like this. Remember coroutine scope. I'll just remember coroutine scope. Yes, and then I can use this scope, means scope dot launch, and I'll just put this snack bar inside it. Okay, let this rendering complete. Okay, now okay, interactive mode is already on. If I just click on this one, there is 1, and if I click 2, the stack bar is getting showed, the number is 1. So that's one of the great thing that we are able to achieve this. Now this is one of the thing how we can achieve that. But if we want to I am doing here on the on click, so that's why there is not an issue, because this on click is a non compo accepts a it has a on click as a non composable. So if we hover on this for on click, then it is a non composable lambda, so that's why we can use these things here, no, not an issue here. But what if we wanted to do this thing at starting in this layout? So inside this here, let's say if I just put this lambda here, this code here, because I just wanted to show every time, regardless of the button click, I just wanted to check if the given counter is even or not, and then I just wanted to show this snack bar. So i'll just I'll just cut it from here on click, and I'll just make it here. Okay, so that's not an issue, but that might cause a side effect, because this is a non-composable thing, and we are in the composable scope. So if we hover on this one, so this function is a composable, and this code is a non-composable. So that's why it is not a feasible. So let me stop the interaction mode. And it is also giving an error, so it is showing that call to launch should happen inside a launch defect and not composition. So that's why it is showing the same thing. This is a non-composable thing, and it should be called from a non-composable context, and this context of the scaffold is a composable. So that's where we can use a launch effect. So launch effect is an effect handler which handles the side effect. How we can handle that? It has a syntax just like this one: launched effect, and inside this we can put all of this code which we wanted to execute, and it has a mandatory argument as a key. So whenever we can put any value as a key, and whenever that key changes, this launch effect gets triggered, and it doesn't get triggered even if this function gets recomposed. So that's how it handles the recomposition, and that's how it handles the side effect. So we are dealing here with a counter, so I just it put the counter as a key. Now the error is gone, and if we hover on this one, then you can see that it is a local file suspend function. So this is the anonymous function, that is a lambda. This lambda gives us a suspended context, so that is a coroutine context, and thus we don't need to launch a separate coroutine here. So I can just rub it, and it still works, because we don't need to launch a separate coroutine here. I can rub the scope as well, we don't need it. This is a suspended function, and this already is giving us a suspended context, coroutine context. So that's why there is no need. Now I can let me start the interactive mode again, and as I was seeing, you are able to see the number is even, because this at first launch effect has been called, and because as soon as the composition has been triggered, this also has been triggered, and this condition has been passed. That's why we are able to see the snack bar. And if we click on this one is not a even number, so this didn't fired. And if I just click on 2, then we are also able to see the snack bar again. And for every even number, the snack bar will keep showing. If I now just notice, this snack bar is remaining for some more time, like 1 2 3 4, I think 4 seconds, 4 to 5 seconds. Okay, but as soon as I click on it again, it disappears. So why it happens? So till now we have already learned about how we can use a launch effect and handle this side effect. Because if we haven't used if we would not have applied a launch effect here, then we would have also run into more problems, just like an infinity loop in the previous video. But now I just wanted you to focus on one thing, that if I just clicking on this one, then it get disappeared. The standard time of the snack bar is near about 4 to 5 seconds, and it disappears automatically. But as soon as I click on this again, this lambda gets fired again, and thus whatever the process in this coroutine context is happening, the launch effect block cancels the previous coroutine and launches a new one. That's why the currently showing snack bar gets hidden, and it again launches a separate snack bar. That's why we are able to see this behavior. Click on this one and it will disappear. So if we click on this one, we click on again, it gets disappeared again. So we need to remember one thing here, that if we have new new upcoming coroutine here, then the previous coroutine will be cancelled. Just like if you are familiar with the flows, then this is more likely like a collect latest function, which is interested in just the latest emission in the flows. Now, but just one more thing I wanted to discuss about the launch of keys. These keys we can pass unlimited keys here. There is no barrier here. So if you hover on this launch effect, it don't have any key. I mean, we can pass any number of keys here. So multiple keys we can pass, and if any one of the key changes, then the launch effect gets triggered. That's how we can use the launch effect here. But actually, this launch effect is mostly used. Many people use it, but don't launch your directly API calls here, because you need to follow a good architecture, and a good architecture doesn't have any API calls directly inside the UI. So, and if we can just observe a state from our view model and can handle that, so we don't need this launch effect that time. But if you still have some uh, scenarios where you have to launch a coroutine here inside the UI code, then you can use this launch effect block. In contradiction to this one, let me just again show you how it was behaving with the scope. This where scope equal to, remember, coroutine scope. Okay, and if you don't have this one, if I remove this launch effect block, I just wanted to show you the difference between these two. On click on this after incrementing the counter, I am just getting it, and here I'll launch a scope dot launch, and inside this I am putting this sniper. At first we have tried this, but I just want to show you the difference between this. Okay, now interaction mode is already here. So if I click on this one, there is one, there is a two, and I'll just keep on pressing this. It's a four, it is a six, but it is not happening that if I click on this one, it still gets remain, it still takes its own time. The segment takes its own time, but that was not happening with the launch effect. The previous coroutine was getting cancelled, and in this case it's not happening. If I just trigger a snack bar here, if I just click the 10, then this snack bar completes itself, and then another snack bar uh, comes and completes its cycle. So there is no cancellation here. So this is how we can use this launched effect, and this is the difference between the two. So that's it about the launched effect and the remember coroutine scope. If you still have some doubts or need some clarification regarding this one, then you can put your questions in the comment box below. I will try my best to answer this. If you like this video, then please click on like, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you will be notified whenever a new video is published. We will meet in the next tutorial with some another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye.